I think I overdid it with the costume. Hello, children. Gather round. Get your candy. Distribute it out evenly. For it's time for some scary stories. And what type of scary stories shall we be reading? Well, those of the internet, of course, because seriously, you fucking kids live on the internet nowadays. Go outside. So 4 nights. 4 nights of me reading creepypastas, 3 of which I will be reading ones picked out by personal YouTubers that I know. In fact, there's one now. It's the ShinyMimikyu. So, ShinyMimikyu, do you have a story for me to read to all the viewers for Halloween?
No.
Are you going to pick one?
No.
So there you heard it, kiddies. 3 nights of reading creepypastas, 2 of which are picked out by personal YouTubers that I know. Let's get started with the first one, The Strider, as picked out by Sketching Shadows.
It was late afternoon, and I was walking home. I was almost out of the forest when I saw a bush rustle, and I heard quiet steps. They were rapid. I thought it was a deer. There aren't many deer around here, and I'd love to see them. So I followed the noise. It led me to a clearing in the part of the forest I had never seen before. When the creature walked into the clearing, I was shocked. It was almost 15 feet tall and had black, shaggy, thick fur. Its face seemed oddly dog-like, and it was large. It had almond-shaped, blank, black eyes. Its legs were long and spindly and ended in a sharp point. I had never seen a creature like this before, and there was blood in its mouth. It paused for a moment, as if sensing what was nearby. Then it looked directly at me. The moment it set its eyes on me, I knew it was a mistake to follow that strange noise. It seemed like the creature could see my soul. I ran as fast as I could in one direction, but it seemed like hours of running, and I still couldn't find the end of the forest. I knew I had only followed that stick creature for a few minutes, but hours of running, and I couldn't get back. I was lost. I checked behind me for the creature, and I saw it wasn't following me. I relaxed a little, but I was still tense from the fact that I can't get out. I hear a voice ahead of me, so I sprint to it. I finally emerged from the forest on the sidewalk. The voice had been that of a police officer. My mother ran over and hugged me from behind. I screamed, thinking it was the beast. I guess I had been in the forest for a while, and my mom got worried. I got home and forgot all about that monster in the endless forest. I sat up in bed and put my glasses on to see the clock. 2:39 it read. I wonder what had woken me for the moment. Then I decided it was just a nightmare, but I don't remember it. I try to get back to sleep, but it eludes me. I go to get a drink of water, and I hear tapping. I look out the window, but it's too dark to see anything. I dismiss it as a branch. I get my water and I hop into bed. I fall back asleep after a while. I wake up with a jolt from my nightmare. I was being chased by that beast endlessly until its extreme speed had gotten it close to lunge a meter in the air and landed straight on top of me. I checked the clock. 9:34, it said. I slept in with a nightmare. Great, I thought. I wasted a few hours of my day, and I got scared out of my skin. I walked downstairs to get some breakfast, but oddly, no one else was there. Probably went to work early, I told myself. But I felt as if someone or something was watching me. I knew I didn't have a guardian angel, because if I did, then that creature would have never looked at me. I thought a bit about the creature, and that it might have kidnapped my parents, or worse, it could have killed them. I went online and searched around. I only found a small bit of information about the creature. It was called a strider. It hunts animals and tears their legs off after feasting on their bodies. If a human follows them, they will hunt that person down until they are dead. I found that the strider would not stop until I was dead. I researched until lunchtime and only found that no one that encountered the monster survived more than a few months after the encounter. I also found other names that people called that thing. Stilt Walker and Forest Strider. It was time that my parents came home from work for their break, but they didn't. I called their work, but I was told they hadn't come in. I called 911 to report missing people. After the police left, I decided to end this. I walked in the forest and followed the tracks I made in the mud to the clearing. The strider stood tall and strong over a decapitated cow. There was gore and entrails everywhere around the carcass. I felt like I was going to be sick. But instead I spoke to the creature. If I give you my life, will you leave my parents alone? I yelled at the hideous animal. It quickly looked at me and began to slowly creep towards me. It made no sound as it stalked. When it was close enough, it lunged at me just like in my nightmare. Only I didn't run away. Months have passed, and the news of a murdered child had died down. No one had seen me or my parents since the murder. The strider still walks the forests in search of its next meal. If you ever enter the forest in late afternoon, then be prepared and don't follow that strange noise.